अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आपको हम खुशामदीद कहते हैं। यहाँ पे जहाँ पे मैं मौजूद हूँ यह है चाइनीज़ काउंसलेट, और यहाँ पे आने का मेरा मकसद यह है कि हमारे जो पाकिस्तान और चाइना के देरीना ताल्लुकात हैं उन पर आपसे बातचीत की जाए, और ना सिर्फ ये कि देरीना ताल्लुकात बल्कि चाइना की जो सक्सेस स्टोरी है, चाइना किस तरह इवॉल्व हुआ है, चाइना इस वक्त जिस तरह से पूरी दुनिया का एक लीडर हमें नज़र आता है। ज़ाहिर है उसके पीछे कोई आप समझे कि एक तवील जद्दोजहद है, 70-72 साल की ये कहानी है। पाकिस्तान और चाइना को भी आपस में दोस्त बने हुए 70 साल हो चुके हैं, और ये कहा जाता है कि पाकिस्तान और चाइना के ताल्लुकात जो हैं वो पहाड़ों से ज़्यादा ऊंचे और समंदरों से ज़्यादा गहरे हैं। अब इन बातों में कितनी हकीकत है, क्या ऐसा है भी नहीं भी, हम ये बातें भी जानना चाहेंगे। इसके अलावा जितना आप देखते हैं कि तरक्की का सफ़र चाइना ने तय किया है, ये सवालात भी हम करना चाहेंगे। लेकिन जो शख्सियत हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं वो हैं जनाब चाइनीज़ काउंसिल जनरल हिज एक्सीलेंसी मिस्टर ली बिजियन। आई वेलकम यू टू हैव a direct chit chat with Mr. Lee Bijian, and I'm really thankful to the hosts here who have always been very welcoming, very hospitable and very friendly. So I welcome Mr. Lee Bijian. Hello sir.
Hi, how are you?
How are you sir?
Fizzah. Fine, I'm fine.
Sir, as I just gave an introduction saying that China and Pakistan share a traditional bond. Yes. They have very close relationships between the two countries, right? Yeah. And we have been always looking up to the Chinese leadership. What do you think has been the key factor in such a close relationship with Pakistan? Do you think it's just because of our strategic location, or do you think that we have also a human-to-human interaction and a relationship? How do you respond to that?
Okay. So, hi dear audience. Very pleased to meet you today, and thank Fizzah to give me this chance to make some elaboration on the issues that he raised. And you know, China and Pakistan has been enjoying a very fraternal and cordial relations since both countries, you know, established the diplomatic relations. And this year marks the 70th anniversary of the founding of this diplomatic relations between our two countries. And through the 70 years, and both sides has been supporting each other and cooperating each other in regional and international issues. At the same time, we have been making concerted efforts to help each other economically, socially, culturally, educationally, and to strengthen this fraternal bilateral relations. I think there are some takeaways of these very cordial relations. Number one is that, you know, this relation has deep rooted in history. Okay. And ever since that the founding of the new Islamic Republic of Pakistan in 1948, and China was founded the next year, that was in 1949. And ever since then, that both countries has been, you know, have been helping each other in international and regional issues. And through all the 70 years, we have witnessed the ups and downs of history, and you know, some of these, you know, difficult times. But whenever that each side faces any problem, and the other side are coming up with help and assistance. And we always say that these bilateral relations are timely tasted and iron brother food relations. And that's true. This is the fact. And especially through all the 70 years, when both sides are facing some difficulties in politics, in economics, and some other field, we always come up with help. We remember clearly in 1970s, when China resumed our position in the United Nations as a permanent member of UN, and Pakistan, together with the most majority of the developing countries, and gave us valuable support and push us back to the main platform of the United Nations.
Right.
And since then, that we have been playing an important role at this regard. So I think that these bilateral relations are historically rooted and inherited by a long tradition.
Right.
And number two is that these relations are people-oriented.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And any relations without support by the people, and you can't last long. But if we're looking back, and we can easily find that the two peoples of Pakistan and China share the values, cultures, traditions together, and two peoples are always fighting together for the right course of humanity, and for the best parts of two peoples.
Right.
Yeah. And thirdly, I may say that this very important relations are based on economic development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And economic cooperation is the most important part
of
the bilateral relations.
Yes, yes.
And of course, China, together with Pakistan, we experienced very hard times in 1960s, 70s.
Yes, yes.
But when China started the policy of opening up and reform in 1978,
yes,
and under the strong leadership of Communist Party of China, and my country has steered and forwarded on the right path of humanity, human development.
Yeah.
And with hard working for more than 40 years, China has totally and completely transformed from a small one to a bigger one, from a underdeveloped to I may say not developed, but is a very, very much developing country, and people in China has been enjoying prosperity and contentment and happiness. So that's through the hard work by ourselves.
Right.
And in this process, we're always together, working together with our brothers and sisters in Pakistan, and we have been providing whatever assistance that needed by Pakistan. And within this cooperation, I may say that one of the most important chapter, that is CPEC.
Okay.
China-Pakistan Economic Corridors.
Right.
And we call this...
We will come to that part a bit later, but first I would like to ask you one question that has always been really been intriguing me and exciting me, in the sense that the economists of the world say that big populations are actually not very conducive for growth. But China is one country that has the most people living in it within the boundaries. Even then, it has proven all the economists wrong when they say that big population is a negative. So how are you able to balance that, and then not even balance but progress ahead, having a very, very large population? First of all, what was the challenge in education? And what was the true challenge when the Chinese state decided to provide to that huge mass of people? Yeah. How would you respond?
Thank you for this question.
Yeah.
And you know, China through the past 71 years.
Yeah.
And this year we'll celebrate the 72nd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China.
Yes.
In the past, you know, 71 years, and we made miracles. Especially, we realized that the, you know, full development in the economic and social sectors, and you know, you're right that, you know, people are very much concerned the population.
Yeah.
But we will say that more population means more resource.
Okay.
Yeah, means more strength.
Okay.
But that based on how you manage.
Yeah.
Manage, and how do you know, educate these people, and you know, in the past more than 40 years, China made a huge progress.
Yes.
In human development, and China, you know, last year we have completed the great journey and the course of build up a moderately prosperity society.
Yeah.
We have already realized that goal, and you know, all the Chinese people now are working in content on the happiness, and I would say that, you know, these are the main reasons. Number one, that is the strong leadership of the party, of Communist Party of China, with the leadership of His Excellency Xi Jinping as the Secretary General of the party.
Yes.
And the strong leadership, our leader and the party, they're always steering the population, this country, to the right direction of development.
Right.
And secondly, I would say that, you know, we always put people first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people, you know, that is a very good policy. We don't care about how much population. The big population, people are saying the big population becomes big burden.
Yeah.
But we always regard this as a resource, as a fortune.
But it has to be positive. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
And my party and the government always put the people first.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, in the past 71 years, under leadership that, you know, we, you know, especially under leadership of His Excellency Mr. Xi Jinping, our president.
Yes.
And he tried his best and, you know, lead this party together working with the people. And we realized another goal, that is, you know, alleviated the absolute poverty.
Yes.
And this year we made that, you know, achievement.
Wow.
And, you know, by the end of last year, and under leadership of Communist Party of China, we have eliminated the absolute poverty out of 832 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, which has the poverty, laden by poverty. But now, whole China is free of poverty.
Wow, that's excellent.
According to the standards. According to the standards and the index promulgated or issued by the World Bank and IMF. So China.
Oh, this is amazing.
China is the only country which realized this poverty alleviation, you know, goals 10 years before
the deadline.
10 years before the deadline of the 2030, you know,
Millennium Goals.
Sustainable development goals.
Yes.
Yeah. So we made a huge, you know, progress on that one. And thirdly, I think that, you know, our system. We had a very good system.
Okay.
And yes, the people are born to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you know, our system, I must say, is not perfect, but my people and my party, we have this courage to make rectify,
right,
to correct the policies.
Right.
So now that along with the development of this nation, and we may say that we have the best policy and best system, which are serving the people and serving the country. Yeah.
Right.
So I would say these are the takeaways.
And then here one question is also raised. That China being a communist country.
Yes.
And the other countries like USA or Great Britain or any other country, they have a capitalistic system there.
Yeah.
No country has ever achieved such goals being a communist, because if we take the example of the USSR, it just crumbled. It could not perform. So, but China is one model where social welfare and socialism or communism has delivered, has given fruit. So, how would you see? How would you compare the two systems, the capitalist system and the communist system?
Well, it's difficult to compare
yes, it's
this.
quite technical.
I think any system has its strong points and weak points.
Right.
But I don't want to make a comparison here.
Right.
But, but I can only say that the system, the political system that the Chinese people now are abiding by, is in conformity to the reality of Chinese national conditions. And we say that whether the system is good or not, only its people can make a decision on that one. And through the past more than 40 years of experiment and reform and opening up, and we just found the best policies, best system, which can serve our interest, which can implement the policy of putting the people first. So I think that this is that we have this right policy, and we have the right system.
Right.
And one word more. Communist Party of China.
Yes.
And people always say that especially some people are always making some problems of this policy, this system. But I would say that actually that what we have been doing, and Chinese Communist Party of China, and the current political system is not a one-party system. People should know the reality. In China, currently we are doing multi-party cooperation with the Communist Party of China as a leadership. And in China we have some other nine different democratic parties.
That's interesting, but because people do not really know that.
People do not know this. Communist Party of China is the only leading party of the country. And we are supported by the other about 9 different democratic parties. They are supporting each other.
That's very interesting.
And we are working together. So that is the very particular and very unique political system we have been doing. And this through the experience and with the taste of times, and we find that this system is the best one. Which suits the reality of China.
And the Chinese wisdom is, of course, it's no one's secret, because when you say that all the stakeholders and all the different voices of the society come together, and then they support the setup there. So now coming back to CPEC, what do you think? Is Pakistan on the right track? Because I'm very skeptical about the speed of the progress that is taken in that direction. So, do you think? Are you satisfied that yes, we are performing okay, or we need to improve a bit, or we are lacking in some areas? What is your assessment of the whole CPEC initiative, which is being developed here in Pakistan?
Before I answer your question, let me go back to the previous issue. I want to add another point. No matter it is capitalism or communism, and any system has its strong point. And as far as Chinese culture is concerned, China has a culture more than 5,000 years, recorded culture. And according to our practice, the Chinese people are always humble to learn the good things from other countries, from other systems.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are, ready to learn any good things, any fine things, fine traditions, which is useful and good to the human beings. So we are tending to learn each other.
Very good.
And learn from other systems.
Right.
So to make our own better. So that is, I just want to add at this point.
Right.
When you come to CPEC, you see, I just want to give you some idea that CPEC is actually a pilot project of Belt and Road Initiative.
Yes, yes.
And CPEC started in 2015, and currently the first phase has already completed, but with because of pandemic and more than 37, with my understanding, the 37 projects with the first phase, most of them have completed.
Okay.
And now is in operation.
Okay.
And some of them in the final stage
of
completion.
Nice.
And as you know that the first phase, all the projects are just the first phase is focusing on on transportation, energy, and telecommunication, and all these sectors.
Right.
Yeah, it's mainly based on infrastructure. And I will say that after 5 years of the first phase, and you see that the upgraded Karachi highway now is serving the Pakistan in a very good way. The M5 highway connecting Islamabad to Sukkur, that is already open to traffic.
Yes, it is.
And some of the power plants, like that one, this one, Qasim, Ping Qasim power plant, which is in operation in Karachi.
Yes.
And all this, you put all these projects together, and this completion of these projects has been helping Pakistan in a very big way.
Yes.
And help you to solve, the bottlenecks of shortage of energy, and the bottlenecks of transportation, and especially one of the projects that is Gwadar port, a deep sea port.
Yes, yes.
And that has been already into operation for several years.
Okay.
It was going very well.
Okay.
So this infrastructure has been helping Pakistan in a very good way. And of course now that end of last year, and now CPEC has entered into the second phase.
Okay.
And according to the agreed minutes by both sides, that the second phase will be more focusing on agriculture, manufacture, and as well as water,
right,
like irrigation. You mentioned just now. And all this the second phase will be more practical. And more down to
and more
the
visible, I suppose.
More down to the grassroots.
Right.
And ordinary people will benefit a lot from these projects. And we are looking forward to the 10th JEC, Joint Economic Commission of CPEC, to hold its next plenary session. And after that, the projects and the investment area will be identified. And within the second phase, and of course manufacture will be the main focal point.
Right.
And we know that Pakistan has more than 24 million population.
Yes.
No, 240 million.
Yes,
population. And most of them are very young. And we have a mission and obligation to create enough employment for the young people, and especially ordinary people, to help them to find a life out of this hard working. And secondly, agriculture. Agriculture is very important.
Yes, it is.
For Pakistan, you have huge arable lands, and too much water, but how to utilize these resources in a better way. And you need the skills, and you need the investment, and China is ready, and at this regard, we will help you. And through, as I mentioned, in the past more than 40 years, we have invested huge in agriculture sector, and we have gained enough experience, skills, and know-hows, and we can just share our experience with our brothers and sisters in Pakistan. And you have great potentials in the agriculture sector.
Yes.
And China and Pakistan, we have started the upgraded FTA, free trade agreement, early this year.
Yes, yes.
And according to the upgraded FTA,
yes,
the more than 300 items produced in Pakistan can enter into China without any tariff.
Okay. Right.
So we are encouraging the industries, enterprises, and business in Pakistan to invest, according to the demand by the Chinese market, and produce enough and good quality, and value-added products, and export to China. And so that will help you in a very big way. And according to the statistics, the first, 2 quarters, according to your financial years, and your export to China has increased more than 25%.
Okay.
And that is very good news.
Very good figure.
Very good news.
Yes.
And of course, we have a problem, trade deficit in favor of China.
China, of course.
And we know this problem. And we are ready to solve this problem.
Okay.
And in the following ways. Number one, we are encouraging more Chinese investors, especially private investors, to come to invest in Pakistan, especially in the 4 provincially identified special economic zones, like this one in Sindh province, Dapeji. Dapeji is special economic zones, and the free zone in Gwadar, and some other SEZ in KP and Punjab province. So invest here, and especially.
And we have a very strong demand for Chinese cars.
Yes, yes.
It's growing.
Yes. I will tell you that. When the Chinese investors come to invest in Pakistan, and we produce here and sell here, and that will naturally you will import less from China.
Of course.
So this will bring down the gap, the trade gap. And secondly, that as I mentioned, that this investment will help Pakistan to create a lot of employment for the youngsters.
Yes.
To help your people.
Yes.
Let's put the CPEC as people first.
Right.
Like we have been doing in China.
In China,
Unless you put people first.
People first.
And you get the support of the people.
Right.
And put the people to benefit from this CPEC. And this will, we always say the CPEC is a game changer, is the fortune maker.
Right.
And unless the people, vast majority of the people benefits from it.
Right.
And we can make it a reality.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you the last and final question of this session. How do you see the peace initiative that is being taken around Pakistan, that is in Afghanistan? How do you, what's the Chinese perspective? How are they viewing it in terms of Taliban and the Kabul regime, and the efforts which are done by by Russia in bringing all the stakeholders on one table? So how, in that international perspective, how do you see this development? Is it positive, or it will not just bear any fruit, or these initiatives should continue?
As far as the regional and international situation is concerned, and I think the peace and stability is a common aspiration of all the countries and peoples in this region and beyond this region. And only that we have peace and stability, and you can have the condition to develop the economy and to, improve the livelihood of the common people. And China, is more than happy to see that the stakeholders and players in this region to come together and to solve these problems.
Okay.
And to better serve the people in this region.
Right.
And China is ready to provide any assistance in this regard.
Right.
And we also welcome any efforts by any country to come up with some idea and some conference or some mechanism to help to solve this problem and bring peace and stability to this region.
Right. Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Since we've talked about Afghanistan, that's our neighbor.
Yeah.
But you have Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it's a part of China.
Yes.
But I've learned that some people are not very happy with the general situation which is going on there.
Yes.
What have your experience been in convincing the world that Hong Kong is a part of China and whatever is done there is in the interest of the people? How do you see the situation there?
Yes, that first of all, we should make it clear that Hong Kong is a part of China.
Yeah.
From history, and it was occupied by foreign forces for a long time, and returned to China, in 1997.
Yes, 1997.
And recently, there were some problems happening in Hong Kong, especially last year. And you see the riots and demonstrations and sabotage happened, and completely had a very negative impact on the economic and social life in Hong Kong. And you see, these problems has shown that there are some loopholes of the setting up of the political system there, especially the electoral system. And according to the current one, that some of the unpatriotic forces can enter into this legal committee and through this current electoral arrangement. And we found there are some defects and loopholes at this regard, and we have to rectify it. So the fourth plenary session of the National People's Congress, 13th, the fourth session of the 13th National People's Congress just concluded the annual session, but before the conclusion, it has passed a law to improve the electoral system in Hong Kong, and to just realize the principle that patriotism, patriotist to administer Hong Kong. And I think by doing so, that we'll have rectify the laws there, and to eventually return peace and stability to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong, that will create a precondition for the economic development and social stability. And I will tell through this platform to the whole world that Hong Kong is a part of China. That would never change. And we have been implementing one country, two systems in Hong Kong. But this one country, two system must be based on the constitution of China and the basic law of Hong Kong. And not, according to any other, so-called laws and joint declarations. The joint declaration between China and the UK, that was just a settlement of Hong Kong. But that capital has already passed. And Hong Kong now is a part of China. It's totally under control of China. And finally, the Hong Kong issue is the internal affair of China.
Of course it is,
So that is, respect, do not non-interference of internal affairs of any country. That is the norm. That is the universally accepted norms and principles of United Nations Charter. So I will call upon the relevant countries and people to strictly observe the UN Charter and do not interfere into the internal affairs of China.
Right.
And to allow the Hong Kong people to administer their own affairs.
Right.
And to make a strong, prosperous Hong Kong.
Right.
For the common sense.
It was a pleasure talking to you and learning from you and knowing so many things which were probably not at the forefront, and I'm really honored to have you with us in this session. And I would also like to thank your colleagues here who have been very hospitable and helping as usual. So sir, we take permission to leave now. So नाज़रीन, आपने हमारी गुफ्तगू मुलाहिज़ा की, जो बातें काउंसिल जनरल ऑफ चाइना ने हमारे साथ आज शेयर की हैं, उनमें बड़ी अरसे की ज़ाहिर है कि हम जैसे बात करते रहें कि एक मेहनत हमें नज़र आती है, एक लगन हमें नज़र आती है, एक सच्चाई हमें नज़र आती है। हिज एक्सेलेंसी का कहना था कि चाइना की जो पॉलिसी है वहाँ पे पीपल्स फर्स्ट की फ़िलासफ़ी पर अमल किया जाता है, यानी जो एक मफाद आम्मा अपने अवाम के लिए, तो वो पॉलिसीज़ सारी उसके इर्द गिर्द स्ट्रक्चर की गई हैं। क्या हम अपने मुल्क में ऐसा नहीं कर सकते? कर सकते हैं, अगर हम अपने दोस्तों से कुछ सीखना चाहें। तो जनाब, इन्हीं अल्फाज के साथ इजाज़त, ख्याल रखिएगा, अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।
अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।
कुछ ऐसा हम करने लगे हैं, नई तारीख हम रकम करने लगे हैं, धड़कते हैं ये दिल हमारे एक साथ, पाक चीन दोस्ती